A leaked document from Beijing shows construction timelines for humanity's first permanent moon base. The date? 2028. That's 4 years before NASA even plans to land boots on the surface again. While America celebrates press conferences and delayed launches, China has been quietly building the infrastructure for lunar domination. They're not just planning to visit the moon, they're planning to own it. And they're winning. Right now, there are robots on the far side of the moon. Not NASA's robots, China's. The Chang'e missions started as simple orbiters. Then came the landers. Then the rovers. Each one more advanced than the last. No fanfare, no dramatic countdowns broadcast worldwide, just consistent, methodical progress. Chang'e 4 made history in 2019 by landing on the moon's far side, something no other country had ever done. It wasn't luck, it was precision. While NASA was still figuring out budget proposals, China was already testing equipment in the most hostile environment humanity has ever tried to work in. Then came Chang'e 5. It landed, drilled into lunar soil, collected samples, and returned them to Earth. Flawless execution. Russia tried this in the 1970s and failed. NASA did it during Apollo. But China did it with modern technology, proving they could run complex operations without human supervision. Here's what most people missed. Hidden in those missions were experiments that had nothing to do with science. They were testing construction materials, 3D printing systems, closed-loop life support. The kind of technology you don't need for a visit. The kind you need for a permanent base. NASA's current plan relies on the Space Launch System, a rocket that's already 3 years behind schedule and billions over budget. Each launch costs over $4 billion. The Artemis program has burned through nearly $100 billion, and they haven't put a single person on the lunar surface yet. Meanwhile, China just tested the Long March 9, their answer to America's Super Heavy rocket, except theirs works, and it costs a fraction of what NASA spends. But rockets are just the beginning. China has deployed an AI-driven construction robot designed specifically for the lunar surface. It can operate during the 2-week lunar night when temperatures drop to -280 degrees Fahrenheit. Most equipment fails in those conditions. Theirs doesn't. They've also tested a nuclear power system, compact, reliable, and capable of running a base indefinitely. Solar panels stop working during the lunar night. Nuclear power doesn't care. Whoever controls energy on the moon controls everything. And there's more. China launched a relay satellite that sits in permanent position between Earth and the moon's far side. That satellite isn't just for communication, it's the backbone of a lunar GPS system. They're building infrastructure, while NASA is still trying to figure out how to keep astronauts alive for a week. Think about what that means. China is preparing for a permanent human presence. NASA is preparing for a camping trip. Location matters more than most people realize. There's a crater near the moon's south pole called Shackleton. It's not famous, it's not named after anyone important, but it might be the most valuable piece of real estate in the solar system. Shackleton Crater sits in an area with near constant sunlight on the rim and permanent darkness inside. That means two things: endless solar power and water ice that's been frozen for billions of years. Water is everything. You can drink it, you can split it into hydrogen and oxygen for rocket fuel, you can grow food with it. Whoever controls the water controls the moon's entire economy. China's Chang'e 7 mission is headed directly to Shackleton Crater. They're not exploring, they're claiming. NASA knows this. Internal memos leaked last year showed genuine panic about China establishing control over the South Pole first. because once someone builds a base there, it becomes politically impossible to challenge their presence. It's the ultimate high ground. America tried to create the Artemis Accords, a framework for international cooperation in space. Over 40 countries signed. It sounds impressive until you see who didn't sign. China, Russia, and a growing list of countries who don't want to follow American rules. Instead, China created the International Lunar Research Station program. Russia joined immediately, then the UAE, then Pakistan, then Venezuela, South Africa, and others. These aren't symbolic partnerships. Each country brings something. Russia has experience with long-duration spaceflight. The UAE has money. Pakistan has engineering talent. China is offering co-ownership, not collaboration under American authority. This is the part that should terrify Washington. China isn't just building a moon base. They're building an alternative power structure for space exploration, one where America isn't in charge. And it's working. Here's what the leaked documents reveal. Chang'e 6 already returned more samples from the far side. That mission is complete. Chang'e 7 launches next year. It carries ground-penetrating radar to map underground ice deposits and a flying probe to scout base locations. Chang'e 8 follows immediately after. Same launch window, same destination. This mission deploys the nuclear power grid and begins robotic construction. 2 missions, same location, same time frame. That's not exploration, that's infrastructure deployment. By 2028, China plans to have a functional outpost, small but operational. Robots maintaining equipment, power systems running continuously, life support being tested. By 2030, the first permanent crew rotation begins. NASA's current timeline puts boots on the moon in 2027. If they hit that deadline, and they won't because they haven't hit a single major deadline in 15 years, they'll be landing just as China is moving in furniture. This isn't about flags and footprints anymore. It's about economics. The moon has helium-3, a rare isotope that doesn't exist naturally on Earth. It's a potential fuel source for fusion reactors, clean, incredibly efficient, and worth trillions. It has rare earth minerals, essential for modern electronics. China already controls most of Earth's supply. If they control the moon's supply too, they control the technology supply chain for the entire planet. And then there's the strategic position. Cislunar space, the region between Earth and the Moon, is the gateway to everything beyond. Mars missions will launch from there. Asteroid mining operations will be coordinated from there. Whoever controls that space controls humanity's expansion into the solar system. China understands this. Their space program isn't run by politicians who change every 4 years. It's run by engineers with 50-year plans. They're not trying to win a race. They're trying to own the track. The panic is setting in. NASA requested emergency funding increases. Congress approved some, denied others, then forgot about it during the next election cycle. The Artemis program keeps getting delayed. Spacesuits failed pressure tests. The lunar lander is years behind schedule. The Gateway Station, meant to orbit the moon as a staging point, has been repeatedly downsized because of budget cuts. Meanwhile, NASA is now rushing to form new international partnerships, not because they want to share costs, they've always done that, but because they're terrified of being isolated while China builds a coalition. Leaked internal assessments describe the situation as critical. One report stated that if China establishes a permanent presence first, the United States will lose the ability to shape lunar governance for generations. That's not speculation. That's official assessment from the people who know exactly what's happening.
3 years from now, there will be construction happening on the moon. The question isn't whether a permanent base will exist. The question is which flag will be flying when the cameras finally point up there. And right now, all the evidence points to red. NASA has the history. China has the momentum. One represents the past, the other represents the future. The countdown has already started, and most people don't even know the race began.